فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قال موسى لفتاه لا أبرح حتى أبلغ مجمع البحرين أو أمضي حقبا وقال تعالى وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم صدق الله العظيم. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Tawheedul ilm, and I was thinking the opposite also is there, ilm tawheed. Tawheed means unity or unification, the unity principle in Islam. It is one of the most basic principles coming from the unity of God, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Almighty. Knowledge is one of the qualities of Allah. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. It is one of the sifat, and we have of the knowledge very little. I remember in the story of Khizr and Musa alayhi salam. You have heard it so many times, but I'll tell you something which has not been mentioned. That when Khizr, Musa alayhi salam and Khizr start walking together, then they're walking on the side of the seashore, then there came a boat by. You remember the boat? The people of the boat knew Khizr alayhi salam already, so when they asked them for a ride, they happily and readily took them on. And as they were on the boat, a bird came and perched, sat on the boat. It was not a big boat, so it was possible for him to put his beak in the water to drink some. So Khizr alayhi salam, who had said already to Musa alayhi salam when they were speaking about his association with Khizr. Now that is not in the ayah, but in the hadith is mentioned. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam has commented on it. So Khizr had said to Musa before that I have a knowledge which Allah has taught me which you don't know. Yeah, knowledge of that. But you have got also a knowledge which Allah has taught you, which I don't know. I have no knowledge of. Okay. That was before. And as they watched the birds, Khizr said to Musa, alayhi salam, did you see how the bird put his beak in the water of the sea? Now, this may be an anecdote, or it could have been a bay, because I'm talking about, practical happening. Birds don't drink the salty sea water, but if it's a bay, it's possible that it was sweet water. But it's not the point. The thing is, the lesson is, he said that in as much water as the bird could have taken from the sea, from this vast ocean, so little I took from it. It's not even compared to it. So little is our knowledge in front of Allah. The knowledge which we have, it is nothing compared to the vast ocean, an ending ocean of Allah's infinite knowledge. It's very little. Very, very little. Okay. Why I started with the verse, there are different levels of interpretation of the verses of the Holy Quran. On a deeper level of the understanding of this very verse, Majma al-Bahrain means the meeting of the two seas is indicative of the two C's of knowledge. Okay? You have, and there are different dimensions mentioned. One of them, readily at hand, is the Zahir, Ilm al-Zahir, and the Ilm al-Batin. Now, Ilm al-Zahir, as the word Zahir means knowledge of that which is visible. And the Ilm al-Batin is that which is invisible. Zahir and Batin generally refer to visual observation. But observation which we have as human beings is not just only visual, because we have 5 senses. Now, back at the institute, I'm teaching them values, and then I give them, which we don't have a book for it, but from Maulana Ansari we have learned about the 5 universal values. The 5 universal values, these are the physical, the mental, the aesthetic, the moral, and the spiritual values which are there. These are universally known. The difference between Islam and non-Islam is that the other ideologies or other systems give importance or emphasis to some of the values and not to the others. Okay? Like majority of the people who are not so religious give much more importance to the physical value, and everybody in fact recognize that and give importance to it, the mental and the aesthetics, which has to do with beauty and so on. The moral and the spiritual sometimes lag behind. And in other system, the spiritual is given more preference than the physical. Then you have got now, for instance, the dervish, which goes around with the beggar's balls. The Buddhism teaches that. You see, to be a real good man, you have to go for nirvana. So you emphasize more on that. And or in Christian spirituality, whereby they believe that the world is evil, basically, so you have to negate that. But Islam, the word that you must have heard this term integralistic. This word integral means that all the different factors are joined together to make a complete whole. So emphasis is given to all of these. Now, in these values, I match the physical with the spiritual, the Zahir, the Batin. Okay. Now, in the pursuance of knowledge or in the experience of the world, all human beings have these 5 senses: the sense of sight, the hearing, the smell, the taste, and the touch. Through these 5 senses, we experience the world. Now, normally when I teach the value, I put an arrow between the first and the last, because they are the 2 exact opposites. Okay? The physical value and the spiritual, or there's another word which is transcendental, and that word is very important, because it shows that it transcends the physical barriers of observation. There's not only you can't see it, it is not seeable, or it's not hearable. You can hear it, you can smell it, you can taste it, and you cannot feel it with your physical, with your skin. Okay, so it is beyond, it transcends your ability of observation of the physical world. Are you with me? I think it's not difficult. Okay. So that an example I used to use is, for instance, you see an airplane coming, which is flying. Everybody knows about that. It flies away. Now you look at the plane and you follow it with your eyes. Then after some times it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller till it disappears from sight. Now that which disappeared from your sight, just like the many stars we see and those we don't see, are physical objects, and they are not in the batin in the sense that they are unobservable, but they have gone beyond your range of vision. Now that is not yet in the spiritual. It is transcended, but it is not. It is still observable if it becomes close enough. Now, then we come to the spiritual or transcendental, which is beyond your ability to observe with any of your five physical senses. So that we know, we have learned from the Prophet on the Anbiya alayhimus salam, so the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there are angels. We have learned there are angels on the right and left. And there are angels in the Zikr Salihin, Tanaddalu Rahmah. The Rahmah comes down. We don't see the Rahmah, but it is said it rains Rahmah. We don't see it. But it's there. We cannot observe it. And also when they are, this is also a Zikr. Zikr Salihin, that is a Zikr. When we are sitting here talking about Allah and Allah's deen, that's a Zikr. The angels come and they attend. The angels are here. They are sitting amongst us. But you don't see them. But we believe in that knowledge given to us by the prophets. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Okay. Now, in Surah Ali Imran, there's a verse. And towards the end of the Surah. Very beautiful verse. Very important, necessary verse for us to read and understand and act upon. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafil layli wan nahari la ayatin li ulil albab. Verily, in the creation of heavens and earth, now the expression samawat and ard is the expression in the Quran which means the universe. And why this expression is in this way? Because it goes from the human point of view, of observation or vision. Because we are standing on the earth. You see? We're standing on the earth. So we see the earth and we see the heavens. Okay? Those samawat and ard. So it is in relation to us. Alright. Now we know universe and all those terms. But it's practical expression. And in the creation of this, and in the interchange of night and day, there are signs. Ayat li ulil albab. Ulul albab means people of wisdom. Now, there is something about the Holy Quran which we read in the study of Quran, the tafsir of the Quran, understanding the Quran, which comes in what Maulana calls a system of meaning. And when you study tafsir al-Quran, you will read that the very first tafsir of the Quran is the Quran itself. Al-Quran yufassilu ba'duhu ba'da. Part of it explains the other part. The very first example is in the very beginning of the Quran itself, when Allah reveals, speaks in Surah Al-Baqarah, the very beginning. Alif Lam Mim, Zalika al-Kitabu la rayba fihi hudan lil muttaqin. Okay? Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaibi wa yuqimuna as-salata wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. Walladhina. Whenever a term is mentioned followed by alladhina, it means Allah is explaining what it means. So Allah Himself explains what is muttaqin, and here also Allah explains what is ulul albab. The translation is the wise people of wisdom, but Allah is explaining what it is. الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض. Now stop here before you go further. There are two aspects of the action of ulul albab. There are two things which a person does to be among ulul albab. First is dhikr, and the next one is fikr. It is like the two wings of a bird, which you need to fly. One wing only cut off, the one wing can't fly because it will be imbalanced. Either wing. But both wings, he flies. So, another thing in the Quran, this is important to remember.